Do you think Ian Garry has a shot at all, period?
Yeah, I do think he has a shot.
I'm going to go with Islam Makhachev. I think Islam Makhachev can win the fight anywhere. Now, do we think Islam Makhachev is going to win by decision or a finish? Islam said he's going to get it done. Islam said he's going to get it done within 3 rounds. And, you know, it just all depends how Islam approaches the fight and how Ian Garry approaches the fight.
I just don't think you can pick against Islam. You know, he's on like a 15-fight win streak or something mad like that. He looked amazing in his welterweight debut. To me, he's pound for pound best in the world. I see Ian Garry giving him problems. My coach has said for years he sees Ian Garry being a future UFC world champion. He's got a proper awkward style. He could end up winning this fight by decision by just staying long and rangy, kicking, punching on the outside and just point scoring. In his younger career, Garry used to get loads of TKOs, finish people, where now he's become more of a point fighter. And Islam's a completely different wrestler to Bilal. He's a lot better. I'm going to have to pick Islam by decision.
Islam is right now the best fighter that the UFC has, or one of top 2. If you put a gun to my head, who I'm going to put money on this fight, I have to go Islam. Because again, he's proved me wrong so many times, proved himself right so many times, and proved their pedigree, their lineage over there. This is his new weight class. He's done it right. He took it off the former champ with ease. So yeah, I have to go Islam.
With UFC 330 now just around the corner, the final predictions are starting to pour in, and MMA pros remain divided over what could be one of the most important fights in the welterweight division.
So this is a real fight. Before you start to think that this is just going to be one-way traffic, I'm telling you, this is going to be a lot tougher than what you think.
One of the biggest names backing Garry is Conor McGregor. He points to Ian's size, reach, and ability to stay out of danger as major advantages against Makhachev. McGregor even goes as far as suggesting that Garry could catch Islam with a high kick and potentially finish the champion.
Let's go, Garry. You know it. He has the tools. He's been doing great work in SBG. He's put in some solid rounds. I've been hearing about the rounds and seeing the rounds and what way the structure was. He's long. He's definitely going to stay safe. He's definitely going to be in there. He's definitely going to be in there all the way. Makhachev has pockets where there's a lot of stalling. He still has things to prove in that welterweight division. He does look like he's at the ground up into it a bit more. It's a cracking contest. Of course I'm going with Ian Garry. And I really believe he can do it. For sure he can do it. How do I see it? Right high kick across the crown of the head. And a victory for the Irish Brazilian. Let's go, Ian. Rooting for you, bro.
However, Demetrius Johnson takes the opposite side. He expects a technical fight, but ultimately gives Makhachev the advantage because Islam has proven capable of succeeding in every area of MMA.
It won't be a rock'em sock'em bloody. It's not going to be Roy McDonald versus Robbie Lawler. It's not going to be that fight. It's going to be a very, very high technical fight. So boys, who do I have winning against Ian Garry versus Islam Makhachev? I'm going to go with Islam Makhachev. I think Islam Makhachev can win the fight anywhere. Now, do we think Islam Makhachev is going to win by decision or a finish? Islam said he's going to get it done. Islam said he's going to get it done within 3 rounds. And, you know, it just all depends how Islam approaches the fight and how Ian Garry approaches the fight. If Ian Garry is running a lot and Islam's having a hard time catching him, it's probably going to go to a decision. But if Islam Makhachev is able to get his hands on Ian Garry, get him to the ground, and start to pass his guard, then he'll finish him. It all depends how the reaction is going to be when the two clash, and that's what dictate if it's going to be finish or...
Looking at Gary's potential game plan, Michael Bisping believes Ian should avoid getting dragged into unnecessary exchanges. He wants Garry to stay mobile, use his jab and kicks, pick his shots carefully, and frustrate Islam without taking unnecessary risks.
Yeah, the thing is for Ian as well, he's not bothered if the entire arena is booing.
Right.
Because that style of fighting, people don't really enjoy. And oftentimes, like even when he fought Jeff Neal, I remember, he was kind of employing that strategy there. And oftentimes he does do that.
A lot of people thought he lost that fight.
And that is how you beat Islam Makhachev. If I'm coaching Ian Garry all day long, make it a boring fight. Stay away. Frustrate him, you know?
Stay away.
Stay away. Use your length. Jab, move. 1-2, move. Head kick, move. Just singular shots, pop shot him all day long on your bike. However, don't tell me that Khabib Nurmagomedov has not had Islam Makhachev in the gym. I guarantee you can find some lanky strikers in Russia. You know what I mean? Get them in the gym, cut off the cage. Because all it's going to take is one clean, one clinch. If Islam gets his hands on him one time, he's going to flip him on his head like Jonah Hill.
That same range advantage is something Teddy Atlas believes could play a major role. He highlights Gary's long legs, jab, straight right, and kicking arsenal as weapons that could allow Ian to land from distance before Islam can get into his preferred range.
And his kicks, those long legs, and that gives him a chance to catch Makhachev while standing and striking before Makhachev can get in range to catch him. Gives him a chance with the jab, gives him a chance with the straight right hand, set the table with the jab, eat with the right hand, gives him a chance again with the kicks, gives him a chance to control the outside, gives him a chance to maybe walk Makhachev through a bad neighborhood and try to mug him. Makhachev don't get mugged, but a chance. That's all I'm looking for.
Atlas goes even further, giving Gary a legitimate opportunity to pull off the upset. He points to Ian's physical advantages, confidence, technical ability, and improving takedown defense as factors that could make a major difference if Gary performs at his best.
I'm not saying he's going to win, but the reason I give him a chance is for everything I just laid out in the physical world, in the mental world, in the technical world, in the confidence world, in all of that I think that he has, if he could have that special night. And the last thing that I said, and I started this with, is the factor that he knows how to avoid takedowns. That gives him a chance to use them.
Henry Cejudo also refuses to write Gary off. He highlights Ian's size, jab, movement, and attacks to the lead leg while acknowledging that Islam's wrestling could completely change the fight. For Cejudo, Gary's length and competitive mindset give him enough tools to make this a serious challenge for the champion.
I think people are counting out Ian Gary out.
Are they?
I'll never forget when I had your back when everybody was saying that Tyrone Williams was about to put your lights out.
No, they
You know
weren't
what I
saying that.
said? You know what I said? I was like, dude, Kamaru's different. He's got the
Really?
length, he's got the height, he's got
Really?
the wrestling.
You said
And
that?
what's up? Yeah. So
Okay.
now what I'm saying is you cannot write off a guy that is 6'3", can get him to his feet, uses the jab, and then kicks the lead leg very, very well. Will Islam take him down? Yes. Now, could Islam control him in Dagestani? I mean, that to me, that's the biggest answer, because when it comes to the feet too, as much as people do not like him, as much as you cannot hate on the competitive spirit that this dude has. He probably doesn't finish people like people want to, but he does get his hand raised.
Meanwhile, Kamaru Usman focuses on one of Islam's biggest strengths, his ability to control the fight. Makhachev can dictate the tempo, force opponents into his rhythm, and keep them operating at the distance and pace he wants.
And Islam does such a phenomenal job right now at that. It's almost like he's not getting out of third gear. He just kind of stays in third gear. And if Ian Gary cannot get him out of third gear, I'm sorry. I just don't see how he gets it done. Just staying on your feet alone is not enough, because Islam's not bad on his feet. He's not. Islam has really good striking. So that I just don't think that alone, I don't think is enough to win the fight. Even if Islam doesn't take you down, let's not forget, Islam is the pound for pound champion. He's a champion. Ian, you got to come in and you got to take that belt from the champion. And I'm not saying it can't happen, because right now, Henry, and I will agree with you on this one. Right now.
But Gary is not entering this fight without confidence. He has repeatedly made it clear that he believes his style can create problems for Islam. And Usman also highlights Ian's fight IQ and sharp vision as qualities that could give him opportunities if he stays composed and avoids being trapped in extended grappling exchanges.
And Ian, I have to be honest, Ian does have good vision of a fight. He can see you. There's that highlight of the only, I think, one couple of knockouts that he has in the UFC right now is him sliding back, seeing the shot, and landing the right hand, I believe. So he does have that vision, and if he is able to stay composed and not be put on his butt, put on his back, and not just be controlled, Ian does have vision. he can find it.
Alexander Volkanovski offers another perspective, expecting Garry to find success with his striking and range early in the fight. Still, Volkanovski anticipates Islam eventually finding a takedown and taking control, with Makhachev's ground game potentially winning rounds or even setting up a submission finish.
I think Islam's going to get the win. He can definitely get the submission finish. I think he can get it to the ground. I can see Ian Garry having success in some of the, some of his stand-up. Some of the wall work stuff. I think he will mix it up, try and stay very long and be very patient. I think he's going to have to play a boring style to be very effective and try and do it for 25 minutes, which is going to be hard. I'm going to have to go with Islam. I think he eventually gets it down. He'll win rounds because of that. And not only that, he can get the finish.
That same concern over Islam's grappling comes into Chael Sonnen's analysis. Sonnen expects Garry to take the fight deep, but he believes forcing Islam to repeatedly work for takedowns could make the champion pay physically as the fight progresses.
But it is my opinion. I feel like this is a prop bet all day long. Ian Garry over 2.5 rounds. Or the fight, rather, will last over 2.5 rounds. I think Islam's going to be sweating out there. I think he's going to get his heart rate up. I think there's going to be certain positions, particularly on the feet, that are going to cause an anxiety, adding to the urgency to find the takedown. But if that's true, and Ian Garry can succeed 2 or 3 times, making Islam work harder than Islam thought he was going to have to work to try and get those takedowns.
Even with that possibility, Sonnen doesn't rule out an Islam finish. He believes Makhachev can end the contest if he gets Garry into the right position, especially once the fight reaches the ground.
I can identify that he's going to get a finish. And Islam has those abilities with Ian, but he's got to get him to a certain position. He's got to get him down. And Ian has been studying and planning for wrestlers.
Robert Whitaker, meanwhile, gives Garry plenty of credit for the variety in his game. He believes Ian has enough weapons and versatility to create serious problems for Islam, even against a champion who has dominated so many opponents.
It blows my mind if the tipping guys are reacting this way, because they're usually on the money with a lot of things. They see a lot of things the general fan does not.
Yeah.
But I don't think Gary's going to give Islam the positions he needs to get the takedown, where I think Islam will finish the fight. And just due to his arsenal of attacks, his distance control, the lightness on his feet. Like you saw when he fought Prates, his distance management and variation on attacks is beautiful to see.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to give the position to get the takedown. And I can see this fight being pretty safe, but very close to the wire until the later rounds, where Ian doesn't have the same conditioning muscular-wise on the grappling side of things, and Islam starts to take advantage, or gets a late takedown in the 3rd or the 4th and looks for a submission off that.
Still, Whitaker stops short of fully backing the challenger. When forced to make a pick, he leans toward Islam because of Makhachev's championship experience, consistency, and ability to control the action.
You know I hate doing this with such close fights and such high-level fighters. But gun to my head, I think I'm going to pick the betting favorite. I'm going to go Islam. I think his quality of work has shown itself to just been leagues above the competition. I'm going to go Islam.
Sean O'Malley gives Garry a much more specific blueprint for success. He wants Ian constantly moving, firing sharp jabs, controlling his position, staying away from the fence, and returning to the center while defending Islam's takedowns. At the same time, O'Malley warns that Makhachev's clean striking could become a major factor if the champion finds his rhythm.
Islam's pound for pound #1. He's moving up. He beat JDM. He's the 170 pound champ. I don't know. I think Ian's going to do a really, really good job at frustrating. I don't know if he's going to be able to frustrate Islam. He's so mentally tough. So he's been through these 25-minute fights. But I do think there's going to be a point where he's frustrating Islam. He's popping him with a jab, and he's moving. He's circling. He's not engaging. He's hitting him with it. The crowd's booing. They're staying up till 5 a.m. to watch him. And he's punching and moving. But he's doing what he has to do. That's the thing. If he doesn't do that, he might, he loses percentages to win the fight. So I do think it's going to be a little bit of a punch move. Don't engage too much. I think he's going to wrestle really well. I think he's going to not get his back pushed up against the fence. I think he's going to circle, find the center. you know, shut down a couple takedowns, and people are sleeping on Islam striking. Islam striking is clean.
And O'Malley ultimately backs that strategy to work. He picks Garry to win by decision, expecting Ian's range, movement, and ability to manage the pace to carry him through a competitive fight.
But I don't know. Final prediction, I think Ian Garry's going to win a decision. I don't think it's going to be the most exciting fight ever. I think there's going to be some good back and forths, but I do think Ian Garry's going to get the job done.
Bilal Muhammad sees the matchup differently and gives Islam the advantage. He expects Makhachev to use cage pressure to cut off Garry's movement, force him toward the fence, and gradually break down his mobility.
Let's break it down. Keys to victory for Islam. Islam's very good, right? He's good everywhere. He's smart, and they usually come in with a good game plan. So I think with Islam, it's all about cutting the cage off. Cutting the cage off, making Garry uncomfortable on his back foot, closer to the fence, and I think eventually it'll wear on Garry. Gary's very good at, you know, sticking and moving, running, keeping the fight at a very slow pace. I think he does that because he knows he gets tired. He knows he gets gassed. He doesn't have one punch knockout power, so he'll stick and move, make you frustrated. And he doesn't care if it's just a boring fight. He doesn't care if it's a slow fight. He doesn't care if the crowd's booing, right? He knows that if he's hitting and not getting hit, he's winning. So for Islam, you got to cut the cage off.
Still, MMA Guru believes Garry has the physical tools to make this a difficult night for the champion. He points to Ian's size, range, movement, and leg attacks as weapons that could force Islam to deal with a style he rarely encounters.
I don't think Ian Garry gets held down by Makhachev. First of all, I don't think he gets submitted by Makhachev in this fight. I could maybe see a world where it happens. I don't think Ian Machado Garry is 6'3". I think he's about 6'2", and Makhachev's probably borderline 5'11". So I don't think the height difference is going to be too crazy. But he's got some reach to work with here on Makhachev. And I think he's going to like cut Makhachev open with I think it'll just be one of them fights where you're like, oh yeah, damage shit just happened to Makhachev. The cut that Poirier opened up got opened up by Garry in round 1. And it's bugging Makhachev on the feet a bit. He stomped Makhachev's leg with an oblique kick early in the fight. Sure, he got taken down. But here's what I want to say. I don't think Ian Garry is going to have to do what JDM did in this fight. Now, JDM couldn't afford to have his back to the cage against Islam Makhachev. He had to push forward against Islam Makhachev.
Tim Welsh adds another angle to the discussion by pointing to the recent success of underdogs against established champions. In his view, that trend makes Garry an especially dangerous challenger heading into UFC 330.
Unbeatable Hamzat. We got Justin Gaethje taking out the unbeatable Ilia Topuria. Now we got the unbeatable Islam Makhachev taking out the young, hungry Ian Machado Garry. Now Ian Garry is 6'3". And I'm talking a clean 6'3", the kid is. He's 28 years old. He's hungry. He's been boxing since he was 10 years old. He's a black belt in judo. He became a black belt in judo at 18, so I'm not really sure how hard it is to become a black belt in judo. He attended Dublin Institute of Technology for a couple months, and then he dropped out to focus on mixed martial arts. He was 6-1 as an amateur, and now he's becoming a real problem. He's on a nice win streak. He's on a nice win streak against Bilal Muhammad. Took out the knockout artist Carlos Prates. And in 2024, he fought Shavkat, another big, strong.
Brendan Schaub also sees a Garry victory as a major boost for the welterweight division. He believes Ian has the ability to win and argues that an active champion defending the belt several times a year would bring fresh energy to the title picture.
I think it would be more entertaining and fun for the division if Ian Garry were to win this fight. I am rooting for Ian Garry. I've come full circle. I'll say I lit him up with all the zesty stuff, and he's still very zesty. I do think he has the skill set to get it done. I just think for the UFC and the better the UFC, it's going to be better having an active champ fighting all contenders, defending 2 to 3 times a year.
For Schaub, though, everything starts with distance. Garry needs to stay mobile, stop Islam from closing the gap, and avoid giving the champion easy takedown opportunities. If Makhachev becomes too aggressive, Schaub believes that pressure could actually create openings for Ian.
Because he's definitely going to have to keep Islam at a distance to win this fight. He needs to get on his bike and keep it at a distance. He has to. If Islam gets inside and he can get him down, he's going to be in a world of trouble. And I think one of the things Ian does have going for him is Islam has said, right? He hears, his team knows. His team's paying attention to what's going on, the chat around the water cooler, where the JDM fight's like, buddy, come on, you got to finish guys. So I think that actually bodes well for Ian Garry, because if Islam comes out aggressive, it's actually going to help Ian Garry. It's actually going to help him. But Ian Garry has got to get Islam on his back foot. He has to get Islam going backwards. Not all the time. For the majority of the rounds. 3 out of 5 rounds, he needs him going backwards.
Luke Thomas also gives Garry a legitimate chance, even while picking Islam to win. He points to Ian's defensive ability and hunger as qualities that could create unexpected problems for an established champion.
I think Ian Garry is a live dog, man. Like, to me, I'll say this. If Islam goes in there and just makes him look like nothing, that would be insanely impressive to me. I mean, that would be like... I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting Islam to win. Again, it's just hard to pick against the best guy in the sport. You know, it's tough. But, dude, Gary's defensiveness is probably going to be an issue for Islam. And in ways that sometimes you never expect. Guys who are on the come up, who are super hungry, who are unheralded in certain ways, they cause major problems for established figures like Makhachev.
Kenny Florian, however, brings the conversation back to Islam's strengths. He highlights Makhachev's pressure, composure, and experience, qualities that allow him to dictate the pace while keeping him among the sport's elite pound-for-pound fighters.
It's not even that simple with Makhachev because, yeah, he can hold you down, he can beat you up with ground and pound, he can finish you there with ground and pound, he can finish you with submissions. He can rinse, wash, repeat over the course of 5 rounds and just do that same thing over and over again. He has all the experience in the world. So this is still an extremely difficult fight for Ian Machado Garry, no question about it. But I agree. I mean, he's been building towards this moment. And if he is to pull this off, it would be spectacular. It really would, because Islam really is the #1 pound for pound fighter. I think there's no doubt at this point. And yeah, in some ways it's nice in that I don't think there's a whole lot of pressure on Garry in this spot because of how good Makhachev is.
Florian also explains why Islam's takedown game is so difficult to defend. Rather than relying on one predictable entry, Makhachev can attack from different angles and quickly transition between grappling options, giving opponents very little time to react.
Islam Makhachev is truly a hybrid takedown artist. He isn't just a wrestler who double legs you or single legs you. He also has that judo background, that judo and sambo background, and that makes it particularly tricky. His takedown offense is very layered.
Finally, Wade Plemons gives Garry credit for everything he has already accomplished at welterweight. However, he believes Islam represents a completely different level of challenge, particularly because Ian brings major advantages in height, reach, and likely leg length.
Ian Garry's a very, very good fighter, right? He outstruck Michael Venom Page, which is a very difficult thing to do. He outstruck Carlos Prates, which is a very difficult thing to do. A very safe fight, he made it, but he did outstrike him. He outstruck Bilal. He was able to neutralize Bilal's grappling. He got a win over Jeff Neal, split decision, but still beat up Neil Magny. These are all fantastic wins for Ian Garry, but what he is about to face in Islam Makhachev is like nothing he has ever seen. Nothing. And I thought, you know what, maybe the height difference would be a big factor in this fight, and maybe it will be. Ian Garry has a height, reach, and I'm assuming leg reach discrepancy on Islam Makhachev that Islam has never seen. Not even close. So yes, this is going to be a completely different thing for Ian Garry to be facing Islam Makhachev.
With so many different opinions surrounding this fight, one thing is clear. Garry has the size and movement to create problems, while Islam has the pressure and grappling to completely change the fight. Let us know your prediction in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more UFC news, predictions, and fight breakdowns.